This video is about someone has to make a high usage credit card. What I mean is if you get a credit card, and for those who have credit cards know this problem, because today's society is all online. Everything is shopping online, paying for your bills online. It's just a nonstop process of putting money on your card and then buying stuff online. Because there's a lot of stores online that don't have credit cards that you can purchase from them to have online store credit. And then you can't purchase stuff and then pay them. So you use your credit card. And in the society today of everything being online, it's just where you have a high usage of your credit card can destroy your credit. It's not destroying it entirely, but it keeps dropping it down because you put 1,000 on the card or 500 on the card and you buy a bunch of stuff online and you're trying to get your car fixed or your house fixed, and you got to use to get parts, especially for those people like me who live in the Rocky Mountains. You just can't go out into the store and buy stuff, or you might be lucky and go to Napa and have them order something for you for twice as much, but sometimes they're really reasonable. I can't say that everything's going to be twice as much, but there's some things you cannot get from Napa or AutoZone or those different places that you have to go through somewhere online and order it through Rock Auto. If you're lucky, you can find it on Amazon through a good product on Amazon, which some of that stuff is okay. But there's other stuff that's just garbage, and you want good quality stuff if you're fixing your cars. And so you got to go through one of those million different places online and order with a credit card. So you're putting 500 on the card, and you order a bunch of car parts, and you put another 500 on the card because you got to get more car parts. So you put 500 more on the card again, and then you order more car parts. And the more you keep doing that, they keep saying you're maxed out, your usage is high, and everything is counting to that credit card because it just is beating up your credit because you're maxing your card out, and they go by the 3-day mark of when you pay your payment on the card or after the due date. What the heck? It's like, so everybody is destroying their credit online because they're trying to buy stuff online because they can't get stuff locally, and then the credit card companies keep reporting that you max your card out, even though you paid another $500 a week later and then used that $500 and you put another $500 and used that $500 to get car parts. And it's like, what the heck? Sure, my cards are going to be maxed out. They're maxed out all the time because I keep ordering parts for cars and for the house and getting things fixed up. And I order stuff online. I order shoes. I order everything I can get online because you can't get it locally. And then there's nobody out there that I know of that is not going to give a credit card out there that's going to be, you can max it out as much as you want. You can, long as you make your payment. That's the thing that counts. Long as you make your monthly payment, there should be nothing deducted on your credit. As long as your credit is saying you made your monthly payments on time, your credit should still be good and never go down, no matter how many times you max your card out. Or if you just make the minimum payment until you get a chunk of money and pay down a big chunk on it. But it's always going to be maxed out buying stuff online. And that's the fact today. These credit card companies are not working with us, the people, who have to keep using the credit card and keep putting money in the card and use the card and put money in the card and use the card every single week. Because it's not like we can just go to the store and buy this stuff. When we live out in the middle of nowhere, it's not like we live in the city. And even in the city, you go to the big city if you're lucky to, like for me, it's a 3-hour drive, so I drive to the city. And then I go shopping, and I cannot find a single pair of good leather shoes. And they're all plastic and all this man-made material, and they're not comfortable if they are leather. They're really hard on you. And so you go, I want a good quality brand. So I go and buy the good quality brand that I've always worn and found in other places. I go on there and I find them and I'm like, perfect. I buy them. But then again, I turn around and my credit report is being screwed up because I'm maxing my cards out and I'm high usage. And there should be a credit card company out there. Someone has to know a multimillionaire or a billionaire, or somebody has a friend who has a friend who has a friend that's a billionaire, that can make a credit card that is perfect for what everybody is doing today. And they're going to get a lot of business, because all it requires is, sure, they might can charge 29% like any other credit card. They can have that. But it's the point is as long as the person is making their monthly payment, they should not be discredited or banished for having a high usage on their credit card. There should be a credit card out there that we can use and max it out as many times as we want. We can have it maxed out all the time, as long as we make the monthly payments, the minimum monthly payment. That's all that should be required. And they're still making their millions and billions of dollars on the credit card. It's not hurting them any. So, long as they can do that and go with just saying, hey, this is a high usage card. You can use it online. You can max it out as many times as you want. You can have it maxed out for the rest of your life. As long as you make the monthly payment, they're happy. And that's what really counts. That's what we need in society today, because everybody is buying stuff online. Except for the people who don't, who live in Africa or the middle of nowhere or the Arctic or something that can't even get the internet. But the most majority of people who have a credit card are going to buy stuff online. And the people need a credit card that is allowing them to do as much buying as they want on their credit card until that thing is maxed out, and then they make their monthly payments and they can pay it down and they can pay a big chunk or whatever they want to do, but they don't get dinged on their credit for it. And that's the worst thing ever, is having your credit card maxed out and then they say, oh, you're only supposed to use 7 to 15% of that card. You're telling people today with online shopping to only use 7 to 15% of what their card is. So if they got $100, they can only use $15 of that card. What the hell good is it to have a $5,000 credit card if you can't use the damn thing? It doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, it shows you're responsible. Bullshit. It has nothing to do with responsibility at all. It has to do with getting the things that you need or want, or to get things that you need to fix your dang car or your house or whatever you need done. It's about business. It's not about being responsible, because everybody else out there is responsible. And I sure as heck am responsible. But they don't tell you that when you get your credit card. And you're thinking, well, I got $5,000 credit card. Okay, let's do some shop. I need a bunch of parts for my car. I need to get the house fixed. I need to get this. I need to get new solar panels. I need to get this different stuff done. And sure as crud, something's going to happen, or my car's going to break down again. I got to get more parts. Or it wasn't just one thing wrong with the car. It was a bunch of things wrong with the car. So I got to spend another $500, put that on the card, and go buy a bunch more stuff. And the card's maxed out. So, guess what? You get dinged because your credit card's maxed out. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Not in today's society. It doesn't work. Their professionalism is off the wall. They're saying, you've got to be responsible. You can only use 7 to 15% of your card. And they're not even being realistic. Because 7% to 15% of your card, everybody that has a credit card, nobody uses 7 to 15% of their card. They're all on the 50 to 80% of their card. I mean, that's unless they're trying to pay it off and just get rid of the damn thing. Sure. Then they're trying to pay it down and get rid of it. They're not just paying the 7% or paying down to 7%. They're paying down to 0. They're going to get rid of that card and to get it out of their life because it's causing a bunch of problems. And it's destroying their credit, just like everybody else. I mean, it's amazing. You can drop 100 points in a year just for maxing your card out. And that's what happened to me. It's like, well, almost 800 down to 6 something. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? This is absolutely crazy. And I haven't missed a payment ever. But yes, I have got bad credit now, or it's down to almost bad. It's down to good, and it's going to be bad pretty soon. Because I'm to the point where I'm like, screw them. I already got the credit cards. Now I'm just going to use them as much as I need to, because it's like, well, I don't have a choice. Anyways, people just need some billionaire out there needs to just have a credit card. I don't care if it's Virgin Galactic or who the hell Richard Branson or whatever his name is, multi-billionaire, perfect opportunity for him to make some more money. Or how about Jeff Bezos or whatever his other name is. But there's just so many chances out there for people to really just make a credit card that everybody can use and max out. And as long as they make their monthly payment, the minimum payment every month, they should never get dinged on their credit. Because today's society is all about credit cards and going, you can't use cash online. In some places maybe you can use your bank account, but other places you can't. And you don't really want to give your bank account anyway to some strange company. So you want to just say, well, I'll just use the credit card, because at least you're covered, at least under some areas under that. I mean, they claim you're covered, but it's one of those things. It's nice to use a credit card online. And for the millions of people who live off grid or out of town or far from town, because there's a lot of places people live, they just can't just go to town when they can have things delivered to their house, to their doorstep. You get winter coming along, you got 6 months of winter, it's not like we can just drive to the store and get things. Because the roads are bad and everything, so you were thinking, well, heck, let the UPS guy come and deliver it to me. So it takes a week to get here, you get your parts for your car, and sometimes you can't even get out of your driveway because your car's broke down. So you're saying, well, I'll send it have it sent Federal Express, and it'll come right to my doorstep, and I don't even have to leave the house for 2 days because I don't have a car to drive because it's broke down in my driveway. And so you have the part delivered by UPS to your door. And now you can go fix your car and get it running and go to town and do the things you need to do. They don't understand this. They don't think like normal people. These banking systems, these people who design the credit scores are not thinking like normal people. These are already billionaires who have everything delivered to them. They have butlers wiping their ass. They don't know what it's like to be a normal person who has to use their credit card for everything online because you just can't go to the store and buy it. I mean, we can't have French champagne sent from France to our front door unless we use a credit card. But the billionaires, hell, they just pick up a phone call and just say, I want a bottle of French champagne sent to my house, and they'll go get it. Sure, they can pay cash, but we don't have that kind of money. We just got to we keep putting money on the card and using the card. It's our online option because everything is changing to be online shopping, and they've done that to us on purpose. So they have to now adjust their system to fit our needs. They have to fix it so that we are not going to be punished for using the system they designed. Because they are the ones who wanted everybody to use online shopping and online this and online that and making billions of dollars off of it. But then when we go use it and we use our credit cards and we max out our credit card to go over 50% on our credit cards because we're using their system, we get dinged for it. And then they turn right back around and say, well, you're not responsible enough. You've been using over 50% of your credit card. And you want to slap them across the head. The banks are doing the same damn thing. The banks are going by the same damn credit score. They're not going by realistic terms as what people are doing with their credit cards. They say, well, you've got 5 credit cards and you're over 50% on all of them. So we're not going to give you the loan. But we did notice you paid all your payments on time. That was nice. Just keep making your payments and pay them down. Yeah, right. Pay your credit cards down. I'll put $500 to $1,000 on a credit card. You know, I'm going to be shopping online and I'm going to use that $1,000 up because I need stuff and people need stuff to survive, keep business going, keep their lives going. They need things that break down. They have to replace it. They got to fix their car. They got to fix their house. They got to fix plumbing, electrical, everything in their house. It's all online. So these people who live in the big cities, oh yeah, they might have the option of finding about 80% of the stuff they want, but what do? They still go online and shop. Even the people in the cities who have everything are going to go online and shop because there's just some things not in the city that they can't get. So they have to fix this credit card system because everybody is using their credit card. And they're wanting school kids to have credit cards. They're giving credit cards to 16, 17-year-old kids. Sometimes 15-year-old kids are getting these credit cards. I've never had that option in my life when I was 15 years old. Oh yeah, I would have got one if I could. But I had, it'd have to be like a $200 credit card because I sure was making a lot of money. I was 15 years old. So, but the thing about it is they're giving these kids these credit cards, and then they're saying, yes, be responsible. You know what they're going to do with these credit cards? These kids are maxing them out. They're buying everything online they want. They're buying new keyboards, buying new computers, they're buying new gaming systems, they're buying new big screen TVs, they're buying all kinds of cool clothes, they're buying whatever they need for school. They're buying everything they can online, and they're maxing those cards out. Why? Because they are pushing it right there in front of the kid's face and saying, here's a credit card for $1,000. Go use it. But they didn't tell the kids, oh, only use 7% of that card. Kid's going to look at them and like, what? I can only use $70 on this card and give me $1,000? What good is the card? I can go pick up a couple pizzas and that's it. Well, the kid's not going to do that. He's going to have $1,000 in his credit card. He's going to go buy a new computer system or a TV or what the hell he wants to get. He's not going to be sitting there just squirming around, sitting there, well, I don't know, man. I've got to get this and I need that and I do need a new good laptop for school. What am I going to do? And his parents are probably going to say, well, use your credit card. That's what they gave it to you for. Use your credit card. So he goes and uses the credit card, get a laptop for school. And they punish him for it. Not his parents, but the credit. The banks. Everybody. The credit card companies don't have any mercy on anybody. So they need a card out there. Someone out there who knows a millionaire or billionaire or somebody that's rich enough to get a credit card company going and set up their own system, or some banking system might be listening to this and say, yes, we'll give a credit card because it shouldn't be based on the credit of a high usage on your card, or if you're over 15% on your card. It should be if you make your monthly minimum payments. That's the only thing they should be concerned about. Nothing else matters. Only if you make your minimum monthly payments on time. And long as you do that, your score should be perfect. And this dinging people for using their credit card when they push this on us to begin with is a bunch of crap. Because no matter how hard you try, to not use that credit card, something's going to come up and you cannot get a part in town. You cannot find it in town for your car. And you have to go online and buy it. And these parts are not cheap for these cars, any car. Unless it's a headlight for a 1970 pickup. That's going to be $19.99. But these we're talking $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 for headlights today. That just went way over the 15% mark. Now, it just needs to be fixed. And everybody that listens to this video, start talking about it on Facebook, on Twitter, on forums, on wherever. Talk to your friends about it and say, yes, we need a credit card that we are not going to be dinged on no matter how much we use it. We can max that thing out forever as long as we make the monthly payments. That's all that matters. And that is what we need today. Because those companies, these credit card companies, could be making billions and billions of dollars. They're still going to make all their money. They're going to make more money because they get more people who want to use these cards then, because they say, yes, it's a card for online shopping. It's a card for using, going out and buying stuff. You can max that thing out as much as you want. And as long as you're making your monthly payments, your credit score should be fine. It'll never change. It'll in fact go up. And that's exactly what they need to do. That is absolutely what we have to have, because this system is not keeping up with technology today. They pushed it on us. They said we want online shopping, we want online banking. They ran it through Congress 20 years ago. And they said we want online banking so we can ensure that our customers have every satisfaction they need. Okay, so they did online banking. Then the taxpayers paid out almost $1 billion a year just because banks had a bunch of money stolen because they did online banking, which they were warned about. They did it before they were ready. There was no security. At that time, there was no security. So they lost billions of dollars a year, and the federal government paid the banks back their money they lost. It still happens. So, but now they're saying the credit card companies recover it because they get paid back by the federal government if they lose money. So they're not hurting at all. All they're hurting is their customers for not putting a credit card out there and saying you can use this card as much as you want. You don't have to be under 15%. You can be over 80, 90%. You can use 100% of this card and you will not be dinged on your credit. You should be able to use that card as much as you want. And as long as you make your monthly payments, it's great. It's just frustrating. Because not only that, people who go to get an apartment or something have to have a 700 plus credit score. So they're like, man, our credit cards are maxed out. How the hell are we ever going to get good credit? Because everything's online, and they sucked us into it. They sucked everybody into buying everything online. And it's true. It is a nice feature because I do it all the time. I buy all my car parts, well, 80% of them, through places online. Rock Auto and all these different places I can find, or wherever. And if they don't have it, I have to go somewhere else online and find it. But when you need something, you got to have your car running. It's kind of vital. Because your car doesn't do any good sitting in the yard broken down. And you're like, well, geez, this is $500 for this part. It's just like, you're just sitting there beside yourself and you're like, well, I have to pay it because there's the cheapest one I can find. And you go and you buy the thing on your credit card. And pretty soon after you get that, you need the gaskets and you need whatever else for the car. And so you buy the whole kit to put it in and whatever tools you're going to need, because you're always needing tools for these new cars. You got to, well, I don't have a new car. It's not even that new. But it's still special tools. You got to buy special tools, special sockets, and special this and special that. And it's like, frickin' A. So you're spending another $200 or $300 just on tools, just to fix a car yourself. Because you can't just take it to the shop because they'll charge you $2,000 or $3,000 to fix your car. I mean, for putting a whole new front end in or something. And it just gets so expensive that you're like, man, I can't even afford to eat if I take and go get my car fixed by someone else. So a lot of people out there are fixing their own dang cars. And they're saving thousands of dollars a year doing it by just buying the parts online and getting the parts in, have it delivered to their door. They can go fix their car and get it back on the road. Otherwise, you're paying all that labor and $75 to $125 in labor having a mechanic do it. And they take their time. And it's not cheap. And so, yeah, it just adds up and adds up and adds up. And then what do most people do? They go pay the mechanic with their credit card. That's what happens. So now you've got to, instead of buying stuff online yourself, you're going to pay a mechanic for the whole job. Now you got $1,500 on your credit card instead of $500 and $600 in parts. I mean, talk about these credit card companies are not working with the people. They're not being realistic in this new age. The new age of everything being online. And I bet you 100% that they are shopping online. All those people who own those banks are shopping online. Guaranteed. They might have everything in the world they need, but they're still buying stuff online. How many millionaires? You go watch all these millionaires on YouTube who are multi-millionaires. Some more millionaires from YouTube. But what do? They shop online. They have all kinds of videos like that. You can watch millionaires' daughters or movie stars' daughters. You can see them on YouTube, and they have their own channel, and you can go watch them. And their kids are buying stuff online. They're buying shirts and stuff and trying them on. And you walk by your nephew and niece, and you're like, "Who's that? That looks familiar." And that's so and so's daughter. And you're like, "Oh, really? Wow." What are they doing? Oh, they're trying on clothes they bought online. They bought on Wish or some other place like that, and you're like, well, so you're like, don't even think about it until you start making a video like this, and you're like, yeah, they were buying stuff online. Who doesn't buy stuff online? Everybody does. That has a credit card, or unless they're in a rest home, someone, but they who knows? Maybe they buy stuff online. Yeah, it's just the world has changed so much since when I was a kid, and it's changed so much in last 15 years. It's just changed. I mean, tremendously. And these kids today get credit cards. They can buy all the cool stuff online on credit with their credit card. They can go to sign up for Amazon credit card and get an Amazon credit card and buy stuff through Amazon. They can get all this cool stuff that I never got when I was a kid, kind of jealous in a way. I didn't have that stuff. I went without it, I was out building rock forts and playing with rocks and sticks in the yard. But it was just the fact that these credit cards have to start working with all of us in this new technology of using everything online. Everything is online. When you think about it, it's really all online. Everything, a bill pay, your credit card, your shopping. You can have food delivered to your door from Pizza Hut doing it online. You can have it scheduled for 5 o'clock every Tuesday, the pizza delivered to your house. It's just nuts. But it's just our society today. Everybody's taking advantage of it and everybody's making money off of it. But the banks are not giving us that little break. They're not giving us that area to work with being online all the time and shopping and doing this and that online. They're not saying you can use that card as much as you want and max it out. They're still saying they're back in the 1980s. These credit cards still have the mentality of the 1980s where it says if you use more than 15% of your credit card, it shows you're not responsible with your money. That's what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying we're not responsible because we spend more than 15% of our credit card. Well, they can stuff that up their ass because today it's all online. It's all credit cards. It's all shopping online. It's 100% maxing your card out as much as you can because parts are not cheap for a house or a car or whatever else you're buying. Doesn't matter what you're buying. And there's no way you can just spend $70 and be happy about it. You're like, well, let's see, I think I get that used part for $70. Yeah, that might work. Oh, and free shipping, good deal. Okay, so now I'm at my 15% mark. But then that part breaks down, now what? You got to go back and order it again or get a new one. So you're like, now I got to use $500 to order that part. I'm going to be over my 15% mark. They're going to say I'm unresponsible. You know, these banks are not working with anybody today. They're just making their own rules like they did in the 80s, and they're sticking to them. But we need a credit card out there that you can max your card out as much as you want and never have to worry about your credit going down. And that's what we need. Someone out there has to do it. Because these banks, you can write to your bank, talk to your credit cards. We need to start a class action lawsuit against them. And say that you can't do this in today's society because everybody's using online banking, everybody's using online credit cards for buying everything they need. And they're also using their own credit cards for buying everything they need. Well, there is online credit cards, yeah, like Amazon. But it's not like everywhere. You can't just go everywhere and get a credit card online. But even with the Amazon one, I'm sure they ding us for that. You're like, well, they give you $1,000 credit limit to buy stuff on Amazon. But I guarantee they're probably saying, oh, they used more than 15%. We're going to report that to the credit agency, and we're going to make sure that the credit agency knows it in bold letters. They are using 80% of their credit limit. Like they're crying about it. Like they're making money off us. Who the hell cares how much credit we get or how much we use if we use 100% of that credit card or the 100% of that credit limit online? It shouldn't bother them any. They should be jumping around for joy, be saying, "Man, we just made another $1,000 today." I mean, they're making millions and billions of dollars off of us, and they sit there and turn around and don't give us that little area to work with. So we need a credit card that we can max out and not be hurt by it. They can't say shit about it. They'll say, you can max it out as many times as you want. You can do it for the rest of your life. And that's what we want. We want that. We want it. Because nobody else seems to get it in these banks, in these credit cards. They're not getting it. They're dumb. They're like running around spending their money, having fun, and yelling at us for spending money. So, well, I mean, you know, what the hell? I mean, does everybody have to cancel their credit card just to make a point to them or something? Because it's like, well, what the hell good is it to have a credit card when you can't even use it? I mean, it's that bad. I mean, you're saying, well, I want 800 credit. Well, don't get a credit card because you won't have 800 credit if you get a credit card. Not unless you're a millionaire or billionaire or something that you can keep paying it off every month. You just don't want it. You don't want a credit card if you want 800 credit. Guaranteed. No. Even if it's an emergency. You max that card out in an emergency because your car broke down and you're in New York and you live in LA and you're like, man, I've got to fix this car, and they charge you $7,000 to fix your car because it needs a new engine, new transmission because it blew up, and now your card's maxed out. And when it gets reported into the credit agency, guess what? You just dropped in credit. Your credit score just went downhill. And now you're not at 800 credit anymore. Yeah, it's that simple. I know I'm rambling on this video, but I'm making a point. I am making a very good point. And everybody that listens to this is saying, yes, we need a credit card we can max out and never get dinged for it. So write to Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos and I don't know, a bunch of other people, whoever's on Shark Tank, write to all of them. Say, we need a credit card that we can max out because it's all online shopping today. We can't just spend 15%. There's no freaking way. Nobody's going to spend 15% of their credit card when they have $5,000 or $3,000 or $2,500 on their credit limit. They're like, are you kidding me? I need a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to go shopping. And they go online and shop. I mean, it's that simple. So, yeah. It has to be done. So, by the way, talk to your bank. And ask them if they will have a credit card that if they'll work with their customers and have a credit card at their own bank. Because each bank has sometimes their own credit card system. So ask them at your bank, a local bank that you use, and say, would you consider having a credit card that is for online and shopping that people will not be dinged on for using it and maxing it out? We need a credit card we can max out and not be reported to the credit agency for. If a bank would do that, they would get a ton of business. The only thing they should report to the credit agency is if you make your payments on time. And that's what you tell them. Say, look, we need something. All you got to do is report to the credit agency if we make our payments on time or if we don't. Anything else doesn't matter. No matter if we use the card, max it out, how many times we use it, high usage, excessive usage. That's what I got denied for. I got denied for trying to get a loan because I have excessive usage on my credit cards. I mean, good grief. Well, I'm like, don't you want to shop online? Oh, yeah, we shop. Well, do you have 15% on your credit card? I bet you don't. You know, these banks, they need to work with us. So spread the word.